Loverly, loverly.
Hello, everyone who's not here.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Hello to us.
There are people, I think there's a lot of people that come on afterwards. So if you're watching this, put in the comments that you're watching
Yeah,
this.
say hello. Say
So that we know.
Say you're watching. It sounds so soccer. I'm watching you.
Yeah. Just put in, I'm watching you.
Yeah. I know where you are.
Yesterday, I saw, you know how people will sometimes put in the groups on Facebook, can anyone recommend a binge-worthy series?
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes often I do look actually because
You never know what you get. I do the same thing with books. Like I'm on a lot of book Facebook pages, and like they'll ask like, "Oh, what's something this vibe or this book?" And I'm like, I'm right in the comments, being like, screenshot.
Well, yesterday some guy asked, does anyone know any, like, what's the scariest movie you've ever watched? Because I'm looking to watch a movie that will scare me for the rest of my life. And so there were quite a few comments, and I went on because I love horror movies and I love scary stuff and whatnot. So I went on to see, maybe there's something on there that I
haven't seen or something.
No, I've seen all the movies. Like
all of them. Wow.
I go through Netflix horror movies. I've seen them all.
Oh, see, I don't. I rarely watch horror films. I don't mind thrillers.
Yeah, I love thrillers too.
And even thrillers, I still do
suspenseful, thrilling.
Yeah.
And I will go horror, but I don't go slasher horror.
I don't like slasher. I don't like gore. More psychological. Yeah. I'm willing to go horror for sci-fi. I think I've said that a few times on these things. Mm-hmm. Sci-fi horror, I'm okay, but like.
I don't mind gore if it adds to the story. And I think I've said that too.
Yeah, well, you've said that. I don't mind some gore. I don't particularly like blood. I pass out at blood, so I don't particularly like watching a lot of gore. But I don't mind it if, like you said, it pertains to the story.
If it sort of advances it, or
if it's not just gore to be gore.
Yeah, I don't like gratuitous gore.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't like that either.
The naked girl in the shower who's being cut up with. Like it added to the story in Psycho. Mm-hmm. But, Jason movies or
there's
chainsaw movies or
there's just something. Yeah, some of them, sometimes those are not bad. I don't mind some of those if they're funny and they're done like in a right way where it's kind of more
they're
humorous.
kind of kitschy now.
Yeah, I don't mind sometimes kitschy stuff.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel real. So it doesn't feel like, oh, so gross.
Have you ever seen that commercial where the kids get out of a car at some abandoned farmhouse or whatever, and they're scared because they're being chased, and the one guy's like, why are we getting out of the car? And they all go and hide in the barn behind all the axes and the saws. And he's like, why did you pick this place to hide?
I don't think I have seen that.
And I think it was an insurance commercial or something.
Why are we here? I know. I just always like, anytime we watch something like that, he's like, why are they doing such stupid things? Like, it's to propel the plot, or
but it's like, why are you being that dumb? Like, where you're actually
putting yourself more in danger.
They split up.
Split up.
They don't turn on any lights.
No lights.
And the camera or the batteries in the flashlight always go out.
Always go out.
They don't have any extra batteries.
They always find themselves isolated around no one.
Yeah. Or there's that one person. The one they're seeking help from, like the farmer or the farmer's wife, and it turns out they're the psycho.
Yeah, they're the ones who are trying to murder you. Finally, we found some help. Nope.
Or it's a whole family of psychopaths. Oh my God. That
I know.
Come on in.
I feel like if you're in an area with a psychopath, just assume all people in the area are psychopaths. Like, just like default. Like, don't depend on anyone
unless they prove otherwise.
Time and time again, the stories have proven that they're just around to fuck with you too.
And like the thing is, like, a lot of times there's like, there's Saw 1, Saw 2, Saw 3.
Like all the Saw.
I'm not talking about Saw.
I saw 1 and then haven't seen it again.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Diamond Heart. So, the Jason movies, they've got like Friday the 13th 1, Friday the 13th 2, and stuff like that. But no one seems to learn. And there's legends, and it's
I think the point is,
we're both good.
We're both good. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You just got smudged.
I just got smudged. Yeah, I have a block going on. So
yeah, so she was worried about some kind of block, and it's always good to get a smudge when you're feeling sort of low energy, tired, blocked. You know, even when you're angry, because it's a good way to release some anger.
That's true.
You know,
Just smudging, cleansing. It's all
now a
good.
lot of people call smudging saging.
I've seen that recently. That's wrong.
It is wrong in a way. So saging is the ingredient. I used white sage to smudge you
Yes,
with.
and
The
she's
actual
indigenous,
act,
so white sage is okay.
smudge means burning of the sage, and you break it up. You don't burn it like a big cigar. I have another video on this channel talking about how to smudge.
Yeah.
Because it was becoming a pet peeve of mine. Because it was like, if you're burning the whole thing all at once, it's just like, first of all, it's disrespectful to the plant and to Gaia, but also to, it's like, are you trying to get demons out of your house? Because maybe then that would warrant a whole
Maybe
thing.
if you were in like a, deserted
farmhouse, like we were just
farmhouse
talking
or
about.
church or hospital or prison, anywhere that like a lot of bad negative energies, then maybe bring out the big guns. Pew 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 pew.
So I smudged you. So smudging is what you're doing. It's the act and ritual of smudging. I used white sage. You can also use things like eucalyptus, cedar, mugwort.
There's other
lavender.
types of sage you can use that isn't white sage.
Yeah.
You can do blue sage.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think of other things, but my brain is.
Yeah, I'm running through things. Like some sage will be dipped in dragon's blood.
Yeah, you can do I love dragon's blood is always my favorite.
Yeah, so I use yeah, I know it does smell so good. And
good.
that's the one I use when I do big house cleansings, when I especially if I know there's an entity in
that
it,
makes sense.
because dragon's blood boosts everything.
Anything, yeah.
Whether it's used as a spell ingredient on a smudge of some sort. So
It just smells really
and then
good.
I followed her smudging with sage up with sweetgrass.
Yeah.
And sweetgrass helps, like, so what happens is when you use sage, it gets rid of all the negativity, and it's proven scientifically it helps to kill the virus,
germs, right?
germs, virus-based germs. So whether it's like cold or lung infection or COVID or whatever it might be, and it helps to get rid of that. But then you also, spiritually speaking, you have a gap now.
Yeah.
And
big old
nature,
hole.
and nature doesn't like a vacuum, basically.
Yeah.
And so it gets filled in. Now it could get filled in with happy stuff, or it could get filled in with not so happy stuff.
Could get worse.
It's a 50-50 chance. So if you follow that up with sweetgrass, then you're purposely putting happiness and sweetness. That's why it's and it smells
Paleo
like
Santo for a replacement of sweetgrass. Would that also work? Or
Paleo Santo tends to be more of a replacement for sage.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't
But
sure.
sometimes I use Paleo as a 2-in-1.
Oh,
It's kind of like the 2-in-1.
2-in-1 shampoo, 2-in-1 smudge.
It's shampoo and conditioner. Sometimes I'll use it because it does have that sort of
I was gonna say
happier vibe.
I was gonna say it definitely gives off a more positive feel vibes and feeling when you're using it. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
sweetgrass
should get some sweetgrass.
is really cool because it smells like vanilla. So you can even hang it by your doorway so that some sweetness falls on you every time you come and go. Some sweetness falls on your guests if you're having company over. It's very good when you know you're having company over to smudge your doorway.
Yes.
Blow cinnamon out of it because that's supposed to be a good thing to protect your doorway.
I saw something too.
Hang sweetgrass right above.
I saw something too recently as well when, where you get 2 needles and put it across. And then stick it outside your door, outside the door, by a window.
Okay.
So if your front door has a window, or if you don't, you can do it like the closest window to your front door.
Okay, and
it's
that
supposed to
helps
be
too.
kind of protect from negative energy coming in.
Right.
I thought that was kind of interesting. As someone who likes to use needles for cross-stitch and embroidery, I was like, well, I have a lot of those hanging around.
Got a lot of needles.
Got a lot of needles, not the other kind of needles.
Yeah.
I don't have any of those.
Yes, that's awesome that you don't have any of those. I would be worried.
Yeah.
Although I have been having to get rid of, I do Ozempic
So
because I have diabetes. So
the darn diabetes.
darn diabetes. You can't help but say it like Wilford Brimley
know, you have
used to.
You have to. It's
Yeah,
just
right. It's hilarious.
instinct, or
It's like,
maybe we're aging ourselves.
just
I don't
change
know.
the name of the disease.
The darn diabetes. Every doctor's like, well, you have
The
darn diabetes.
Yes, yes.
But you have to just but it's through a shot then?
Yeah, so there's
didn't
just a little
realize-
needle I have
I
to
didn't
get
realize
rid of.
that's how that works.
Yeah, so it's an injectable. So I have a little box that I pop.
Pop it in, and
Yeah.
then where you take that.
I then take it to any pharmacy and they'll dispose of it
Oh, that
safely
makes,
and properly.
that makes sense. I didn't know. I've never had to stab myself with anything.
Well, it was funny because when I got the prescription, they gave me this. I'm like, oh, what's this for? It's like, this looks like a cool little box.
fancy little box you gave me when I put in your snacks.
Is it a gift of purchase?
Like, no, it's for your
Needles.
needles.
Yeah, don't be putting popcorn in there.
I know they have like one of those, not one of the small ones you get, but they have like a big one in our park for needles, of course, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
addicts in our area, unfortunately.
Right. I think there's addicts in every area.
There's everywhere.
Hates the smell of sage. Oh. Well, as they jokingly say, if you don't like the smell of sage, it's working.
Or you're a demon.
Oh, I saw a video where someone had just saged their house, and it was like before the Christmas holidays or the Thanksgiving holidays down in the States. And the mother-in-law walked up to the door and she's like, "Is that sage?" And she's like, "I hate that smell." And then she backed up so much she fell off the porch and ended up on her back, and her hands and legs were all in the air. And then the meme was, "It's working."
And it's working. She wanted to ask for help with a love situation.
Oh.
We have talked about relationships on here
We
before.
have, yes,
So we would
absolutely.
love to help.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's your situation?
what's your sitch? Give us
Yeah.
the tea.
Yeah.
We love tea.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a lot of tea, but I love tea.
Yeah. Give us the details there.
I just noticed your beautiful
Tea.
tea thing.
Yes, that was thrifted as well.
I love that.
We have a thrift store right beside my
It's
office.
very dangerous. Oh my
which is
God.
and they're a true thrift store.
They are. Their
prices are very.
Yeah, they haven't gone up really anything crazy.
No, they've gone up a bit, but
There's this guy Zach. We both like each other, but neither of us is making moves. Should I move on? Well, if neither
or
of us,
should you move? Oh, should you move on or should you move? I guess.
I think she said move on.
Okay.
Is what
okay.
she meant. Not
Move one.
not move one. Move one
Slip
space
that
over.
E
One
in
step
there by
closer.
accident.
I mean, if you both like each other, why don't you make the move? Why does he
Yeah.
have to make the move?
He doesn't have to make the move. So, they say, because they've done some studies. Sorry, English is not my first language. No worries. No worries.
We make more spelling mistakes, and
Yeah.
I only
Sometimes
speak
it's
English,
just a slip of the thumb or whatever.
or I just don't know how to spell.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, my spell checker doesn't always get it, and sometimes I have to go to Google and type in the word.
I do that too because I'm like, are you getting? I'm trying to guess it. I don't
Spell
know.
checker is your worst best friend.
It is. He is
He's
a classmate.
Okay, how old are you?
I was gonna say,
Probably in college or something. Oh, she said I'm a something.
oh, I didn't see. Say it again. Hold on. I don't. We're see. It just shows how well we are figuring out things. Did we? I don't know how
no,
you
we don't
look
wanna
for
do that.
chat. No.
Okay.
26, it's training. Okay, 26,
okay.
it's training. So you
okay.
work with him then? Like you're gonna,
You're in
or
the
you're
training
like,
with
like
him.
in trades, I'm assuming, or of some sort, or
So is this coming to an end then?
not really college. Okay.
Okay. So is this training coming to an end and you might be going off in different directions, so you're wanting to know if this is something?
I mean, I'm always about shoot your shot.
Yeah, shoot your shot. Sorry. You know, nothing gained, nothing lost, nothing gained kind of
Yeah,
thing,
I would
right?
shoot your shot. I don't know, like,
And as I started to say, they've done a lot of studies on, how man and women interact and approach each other. And like this apparently is a subconscious sign that a woman is saying I'm available.
yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that actually
and men
recently.
men respond to it and they don't know why. It's not like they're like, oh, she did this, so therefore.
I instinctually know she wants me to ask her
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Just like,
And that and the touching of the arm.
yeah, that,
Women will do that and show I heard that too. Yeah. So, but at the same time,
Some guys are shy, or they just don't want to make the move, or
yeah. But a woman, a lot of times they were showing bar scenes where they were doing these studies, and a lot of time a man won't approach a woman until she looks at him. So it's the woman, technically speaking,
You kind of have to give it be like
Yeah.
an obvious sign, like, you know,
Yeah,
hey,
a
like,
little look, yeah, the raised
little looky
eyebrows, a
loo.
little smile. Now you're not in a bar, so. But yeah, I mean, I always say to shoot straight first of all.
The
You know,
worst you can
like
get-
don't play games. Just say,
No,
hey,
just be
you know,
honest,
do you
like-
want to go for coffee? Maybe make it a coffee date, and then
Coffee is always like nice too. It's nothing too.
Yeah.
It can be short and sweet, or if you're liking it, then you can be like, "Well, did you want to go for dinner?" I prefer to text him. So then text him.
text him and
Text
say,
him. Be like, "Hey, I'm. You know, it's
I was thinking I wanted to go for coffee. You want to
Yeah.
join me?
or it's a beautiful day. You want to go for a walk and a coffee,
Yeah,
or you know,
yeah. Then in front of him, it will be awkward. No, it won't. If he says no, then, then you know your answer.
Worst cases, they say no, and
Yeah.
then you just are like, okay, that sucks.
and
but
then
it
you
is
know,
what it
move
is.
on.
It's kind of one of those things you kind of have to keep exposing yourself to stuff. Like,
Yeah.
things are awkward, things are uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but many things in your life are going to be awkward and uncomfortable.
Especially heart-related.
Heart-related things. But if you keep
Things.
deciding not to do something,
You'll end up alone.
you're never going to take the chance. You're just
Yeah.
going to keep waiting for someone else.
And
maybe
love is very much, you have to be
Take the-
open and take that risk, take
the
that
leap.
chance.
Be willing to.
This place is like high school. People spread rumors.
Well, then you don't want to be around those people.
Yeah.
Then
and
those are probably not people you want to be near. If they,
Uh,
and if he's willing to feed into that, then he probably wasn't the person to be with
Yeah.
anyways.
And how bad can a rumor be? You asked him for coffee, let's say.
And then he
He
said
says
no.
no. Maybe he comes back to work where you're training and he says to another classmate, oh, so-and-so, Diamond Heart asked me out and I said no. You know, because I'm just not feeling it. Apparently he has that voice, but
He talks like this.
He talks like this.
this.
and that's
stoner boy.
like maybe the rumor lasts for a couple of days.
There's going to be something else that comes up and you'll feel like it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Trust me, at 26, the things that I thought were like super, like, oh my
I
God.
say, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, you'll think in a year, even at 27, you'll be like, that was nothing. Why was I?
stressing over
He
it.
has a, he does have a. So we were right.
We
He's
were
got
right.
a
This is
super
how-
deep voice. We totally knew.
But if you're both into each other, obviously you text back and forth with him. Just
Well, yeah, by your own admission, you both like each other.
so he probably won't say no, and there won't be any rumors that start up. I mean, what's the worst rumor? A, he says no, and you know you've been rejected, but that's okay. Now you know you move on.
That's the reality.
Or B, he says yes, and you start a great relationship with
Yeah.
your boyfriend and girlfriend, and boom, what's bad about that rumor?
yeah, exactly, exactly. You got the guy you wanted.
Yeah, because chances are he will say yes.
Yeah, most
You know?
likely. And if he
Yeah.
doesn't, then it wasn't meant to be. And then it's just like, okay, it gives you endurance.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
the
you're
next
welcome.
time. You're
You're
welcome.
welcome. Yeah.
I get it can be scary. I mean, I don't know.
Well, a lot of guys. Okay, so I do a lot of love readings.
Yeah,
and as
you
you
do,
know, a
tons.
lot of men now come in for love readings, and I find they say they're scared to approach a woman
I hear that a lot.
because of the Me Too movement. He's really intimidating.
yeah. Intimidating.
Okay. Text is not intimidating. Hey, buddy, how's it going? You want to go for coffee? It's a beautiful day, like she said. Do you want to go walk by the water?
Yeah, I would just like formulate your text in a note
Yeah.
and then put it in his thing, send it, and throw your phone away for a little bit. Don't
Yeah.
overthink it.
And don't think, oh, he hasn't replied in the last 4
Yeah,
hours.
and-
That's okay.
Yeah, maybe they're busy. Maybe, maybe
Yeah.
they're nervous.
Yeah. Because a lot of guys are scared to approach women, mostly because of the Me Too movement,
Yeah.
because they're scared of what will be misconstrued. So a lot of them are but
Looking
the-
for that enthusiastic consent.
Yes, and a lot of guys now love it when women approach them.
Yeah. I
Because
think
they know it's a
a
perm-
power move.
Yeah, it is. It is. When you make the first move, it's a power move. Definitely,
Yeah.
you got the upper
Oh, I
hand.
think we've lost her. But Diamond, we hope you do it.
Yeah.
Maybe she left to go do it. Maybe
Yeah.
she's on her phone.
Hopefully.
We
Maybe
wish you
she'll
all,
watch it back.
I know. Wish you all the luck. I hope it goes back.
Yeah.
I wish you'll.
We'll be here next Wednesday.
I was gonna say, I hope
let us know how it goes.
I would love to know how well that went.
Yeah.
Did his deep voice respond back to you? Yes.
Yes, Diamond Heart. I want to go out with you.
Why is your not deep enough? Yes, Diamond Heart. I totally want to go on a date.
I'm just going Pooh Bear deep.
Pooh Bear. Oh, I want some honey. You are going Pooh Bear.
Would you like honey or bagels? Both, please.
Yeah.
He always says both.
Oh, God. I could go for a bagel.
Yeah. I was thinking about a bagel earlier this morning.
Bagels are good. I always want to buy them, but when I buy them, I don't eat them. Do you ever find that? Like, something that you would get
I might eat
when
the
you're
first
out?
one. And then it's like,
no, never more.
luckily your father likes to snack on them. He just takes them out of the bag and
Oh,
eats
that's
them.
just.
We are
we're
not
not
even that close. It's okay. That's what
fine.
coffee's for.
That's
you get
why
closer.
People ask people all the time they don't know.
Yeah.
Like even random strangers. You
Yeah.
just feel like, maybe I have a vibe with you, and I just want to.
You don't know if you have a vibe until you sit together in person.
It's like, and it's better to do that than online dating because at least you know this person. You have somewhat of an idea of maybe who they are at least.
What their mannerisms are like. And,
instead of just a picture on the.
Yeah, and them showing the best foot forward, and some of it might be a little exaggerated.
Exactly. And honestly, relationships.
He doesn't own an oil tanker.
And honestly, just like dating and relationships is honestly at the end of the day a numbers game in some ways. Like
Very
you
much
just
so.
have to just keep doing it. Like every opportunity that comes, you just have to be willing to.
In sales, because I used to be in sales.
I was thinking the same thing when I was talking about this.
You got to get 9 no's before you get your 1 yes. So go out and find out if he's a yes or no, and if he's a no,
then he's one number off the 9 that you have to ask.
You only have 8 more to go.
Yeah, I think we often, not even just in love, but anything, you hold yourself back because you think you're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
And you're afraid of your insecurity comes up, so you're hearing voices about
and you've got imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Who are you to tell anybody about that?
Yeah, your self-esteem, like, oh, well, I'm, not pretty enough, I'm not funny enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, whatever that is. So then you're hearing these voices that aren't you. That's not you. That's something someone's told you that you've turned into a belief. But now you're using that as a crutch to hold yourself back.
Yes.
Because
surprisingly, people are scared of success.
Oh, 100%. But then you'll be surprised at the number of times you just say yes to something.
Yeah.
Or you just take the plunge, like, I'm going to ask that person out.
Yeah.
And the worst case is they get no. Funny enough, the more you put yourself in situations that are scary or make you afraid and you keep doing them, the less afraid you become to do things.
Yeah,
because
facing your fears.
Facing your fears. Rejection is a part of life.
Yeah.
Like, that's just
Learn
normal.
to get somewhat comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You
get
know?
comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. If you're feeling uncomfortable going forward in this approach, whether it's life, love, career,
lean into it a little bit.
Lean into it and know that, it'll
hold less power over you. Once you realize.
It's like taking it back.
Yeah.
Going, nope, life,
Exactly.
you can't scare me.
Because once you go through it and you've realized and you've processed it, you're like, okay, well, I lived. Yeah. I was fine. The big scary thing I thought was going to happen didn't really happen.
Well, and they say that too. They about soldiers a lot of the times because they get into scary situations. Yes. And the heroes on the war, battlefield kind of thing, aren't the ones that are strong and courageous. They are strong and courageous, but they're also afraid too. Yeah. They're afraid with the soldier that doesn't want to go forward, and they're also the soldier that does want to go forward. Yeah. He's just, faced his fears and moved
keep doing
forward.
it. You never really lose the fear. You just don't let it
let it
over.
Power.
You don't
power you.
Yeah, you don't let it control you and what you choose to do, especially on things you want to do. Yes. Also, while you're still here, we would love to hear an update. So if you do, we'd love to hear updates about what happened. Yeah. Because it would be so fun.
Yes, absolutely. And either way he goes.
Yes. either way it goes. And if it's a no, then we'll be here to support you. If it's a yes, we'll be here to cheer you. Yes. And even if it's a no, we'll still be here to cheer you on anyways. Yeah. For the next one.
Good for you for getting the first no, or good for you for getting the yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So let us cheer you on and tell us.
It's a success either way.
Yes.
I mean, even if you get a no,
It's still a success.
You're still awesome. You took the chance.
Yeah.
Most people don't.
And every time that happens, when you like someone and you have to ask them out again, it gets easier, right?
Yeah,
Because
it
you've
does.
had, maybe say 2 or 3 rejections
You get
in your belt. And
it doesn't feel so scary anymore.
Yeah.
You've taken the power away from the scariness.
yay.
Oh,
Mwah.
yay. We hope for the best, but if not, we're here.
Yeah.
And either way, you're awesome that you did it. Because it is scary to ask.
Good on you, because
it can be. It's scary.
it's very daunting.
It is. I feel like I'm married, so I haven't had to ask anyone else for a while. But even as a mom, finding new friends, that's another way of asking people out.
Yeah.
And you have to be like, okay, now I have to like text them and be like,
Yeah.
do you want to
contribute to the relationship?
Yeah. Do you want to be my friend?
Yeah. Right? We don't really get past the age of 5 in a lot of things.
I just want someone to color with.
Yeah.
On the playground.
Someone I can play tag with.
Exactly.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah.
But we wish you all the best.
Yeah. And it's a good thing to face fears.
It is a good thing.
Because a lot of people, I find I have
Excuse me.
quite a few people who have told me, anxiety is the big buzzword.
Yes.
Right? And I have anxiety when I do this, or I have anxiety when I go into this situation. It's like, well, don't let it control you. That's a form of fear, right?
It is a form of fear. I think, because
there's clinical.
well, it's clinical
stuff, too.
anxiety too, but there is layers to it. Like I experienced.
But now everybody walking the planet thinks they have anxiety. Of course you have anxiety.
Well,
we all have it to a certain degree about certain
exactly.
things, right?
No, 100%. It is. And this does come down to fear. Part of it also comes down to because I also have anxiety. Just to add to the various vast of people who have it.
Yeah.
But I've been going through therapy. And my therapist is like,
Therapy helps.
Therapy helps. Everyone should see a therapist.
Yeah.
Therapy helps everyone. Even if you don't think anything's wrong with you, there probably is.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Good
put
to
that-
go get a therapy checkup.
Yeah, get a wellness check.
Because your mental and spiritual health are as important as your physical.
Yeah, they often coincide together.
Yeah.
One affects the other typically.
And especially your mental health definitely affects your physical health.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But we were talking about anxiety, and oftentimes like that is a form of protection. Like in your childhood, your inner child that protected you, but then you're now grown up, so you don't need that same layer of protection. What saved you when you were younger isn't gonna what save you now. It's just holding you.
It doesn't serve you anymore.
It doesn't serve you. It's just holding you back.
Yeah.
Now
it's like putting on pants that you wore when you were 5, but now you're 55. Not gonna work.
The visual of that is something. If you
get up to your knees, maybe.
I'm impressed that you got. I thought like it would be a sock at most.
A sock.
Like maybe a leg warmer for one leg.
We're going back to the 80s.
I was like, what do you mean up to your knees? Like, have you seen 5-year-old pants? Like,
not in a while. I have not.
My kid's 6. There's no way I could maybe get on this arm. Or both. I could go on both. I could go on both these arms maybe, and I would just be like this. I'm like,
this works for me.
This works for me.
This helps protect me.
It's keeping me warm.
So if it was clothing that you had to wear when you were 5, you would know I don't need that to protect me.
No, it's not going to do anything. It's just hindering you.
Yeah.
Which, if you had your arms like this in little kid pants, that would be hindering you.
Very hindering.
But
it's
yeah.
really hard to do the dishes like this.
So it's one of those tricky things because you kind of have to go back to that and recognize that helped you, and then have to bring up all your.
You need to validate it because
you need
it's
to validate it. Yeah.
Wrong that you have that reaction.
But you can't let it keep holding it back.
Yeah, but it's becoming now a deterrent and a block.
Yeah, it's now hindering you now. What's something that helped you before is no longer helping you or serving you now.
Because we all change, right? Like, just like, again, I'm going back to school. In kindergarten, we used crayons. When we got to grade 3, we were using pencil crayons.
Yeah.
And if you're like my age, remember the Laurentian 24 pack? The coveted pack of pencil crayons.
Oh my god.
You could do the maps like so beautifully.
The maps. Oh, the
Remember
maps.
coloring in the maps?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and you took such pride
Yes.
in it, and you'd see your girlfriend's little map, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's nice. What did
I
you do
know.
there?" And you'd pick up on that technique.
I always
and-
loved doing where you did dark on the outside and then you
Yes.
like fade, like it get like faded in.
And then you'd trace all the names, say, of the provinces in black.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, oh, it all stood out. It was beautiful.
It was so great. Except for when you had to get to like certain spots and it, like all the little
Yeah,
just
the
so you
little
didn't-
islands or
just
something.
dots. You're like, this is so annoying. You're throwing off my aesthetic.
Exactly.
And then you'd see like some kids though that just didn't even care.
Yeah.
They're scribbling, and you're like, oh, that's just
Ontario's a blue scribble, Quebec's a purple scribble,
I know.
or whatever.
It's just like
you know?
took terrible. And you're like, ugh. And they're not even like in the lines.
Yeah.
And the teachers are like, make sure you make it look nice. I'm like, well, they aren't doing nothing. They're not.
They've
doing...
lost already.
Yeah. I think they need a new one.
Yeah.
They didn't follow the rules.
They're using the no-name pencil crayons, and it's just
Yeah.
not working
Or
for
they
them.
would start doing things like black.
Oh, yeah.
Everything the kids are going to black, 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 black,
That's
brown.
true. I do remember one guy in our class colored his whole map black. And I'm like, just as a joke, obviously, but it was like, oh my god.
Terrible, terrible.
Oh
That was
my
always
God.
fun because I felt like you were learning, but not really. 'Cause
Yeah.
you were just coloring. That's all you were
Yeah,
doing. The
Exactly.
teacher probably did it because it was like, oh, this is fun. We can pretend we're teaching them
Yeah.
something, but really they're just coloring.
Yeah, exactly. And if you had markers and pencil crayons,
Oh, yeah. You could
game
go.
on.
Yeah, you could go crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could like add trees and you never do that.
Yes,
Like you
yes.
added like little things like
You outlined where the mountains were.
Yeah. it's like this is so fun. Maybe a little river or something
Yeah.
you did, like just for fun. Or like maybe a bear.
Yeah.
Just for like
Yeah.
giggles. Like, oh look
Yeah.
at the little bear with the baby bear.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah.
Things of childhood. But that's fun. You can keep that.
Yeah,
You can do
exactly.
that.
I mean, there's a reason why adult coloring books are so popular.
I love my coloring books. Actually I have to get more.
Oh, okay.
things
I
to color with
prefer
it, but-
painting.
Painting's fun, yeah.
Yeah. Very
Yeah, because you
creative.
like yeah.
Yeah, I like all my various paintings.
Okay.
And you can see one up there.
They're all around us.
Yes. Now they're paint by numbers, but I
Paint by numbers is fun though. Sometimes like the
yeah.
not thinking
And a lot of
aspect.
people don't finish a paint by number.
That's true. I know lots of people.
And so people like that they can come in and buy one that's already done. And also too, I tend to change up
The thing a little bit.
the thing. So I make it my own.
It's unique.
It is unique. It's not out of the box.
Well, and everyone has, even with the paint by numbers, you're gonna have a different way of how you put the paint down.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Whatever. They're all gonna be slightly different.
And you've taught me a lot of different techniques.
Yes.
Because she is an artist. An artiste. She really is.
Having the mustache.
The
or
mustache.
teeth.
Apparently artists have to have
I always have to
mustaches.
have a mustache. Just like, French goes, ha ha, hee hee. Always tell the kids that because they were talking about speaking French. And I'm like, oh, so they just went, ha ha, hee hee.
Yeah.
Like, that's not French, Mom. I'm like, I know. But it bothers you when I say that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
No, I don't do a lot of paint by numbers. I
That's
guess
my adult
that's your
coloring
thing.
book,
When
yeah.
I do painting, I do like just to do whatever I want and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I like cross stitching, which is similar.
Yeah.
because
it's
it's
basically
following
coloring on
fabric. You're just following a pattern and just
Yeah.
putting it on. Obviously, you make tweaks and stuff
Yeah.
as the same with the paint by numbers. So
Yeah,
you
you
can
kinda
definitely add your own unique
Yeah.
twist.
Exactly. And cross stitching is another one that a lot of people don't finish. They'll start it and not finish it.
I have so many unfinished ones.
Right.
I'm slowly
yeah.
chipping away at them. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm not cross stitching as much.
I get through waves of wanting to do
You do it like crazy, and then you're like, and done.
and done.
Actually, I have to start up again. Well, start up new projects. I have to do the teacher cross stitch patterns I have
yes,
again for this
yes,
year.
yeah.
3 I have to make this year. So
Oh, okay.
I have a cross stitch pattern I made specifically for teachers. So I give it to
And she's the stitchy goddess.
a stitchy goddess.
So you can buy the patterns.
Yeah, so if
as
you're
well.
looking for a pattern for your teacher, or if you have a bus driver, I have one for a bus driver as well.
Oh, there you go.
I already gave
Awesome.
mine to my bus driver last year, so I have to figure out what I'm going to give him this year. So I've given him a painting and a cross stitch pattern, and then or something else.
Oh,
I
and
did
junk
then.
journaling's another thing. I like junk
Junk-
journaling.
yeah.
And I like making jewelry. Like,
Those are all creative, fun things.
yeah. To me, it's matching up the or
beads
the
or the
beads, and also like the different textures of paper. And embellishments and
You
things
can
like
go
that.
pretty crazy. I've had a few junk journal pages come up recently on my Instagram. I was like, some of the things you can do.
Yeah.
Now, this one person I think did a little overboard, but they even had like modeling putty or whatever, like some type of
Oh,
that they
yeah.
put on.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've got
Yeah.
that. I've got modeling
It's
putty.
crazy, and like what else do they have? They have all kinds of stuff, and I've seen some of this stuff before because I've watched lots of junk journaling before. Because it isn't interesting. I like the idea of it. I don't know if I could keep all that stuff.
Yeah.
As I say, I have a lot of stuff, but I just like
I have a
couldn't.
craft room, and half of it's just junk
I was gonna say
journaling
junk
stuff.
journal is like all crafts take a lot of things. But junk journaling, because it's not something you could easily take with you somewhere and
No.
do.
That's why when people say, "Could you do a class and teach us how to do it?"
Oh my god, I couldn't imagine.
I'm not moving my craft room into here. Because when you start going, okay, well, we could do this or that or whatever.
There's so much you could do from what I've seen. It's just bananas.
Well, I was at the tarot conference this year, as you know, and they had a junk journal element to it where people took a piece of paper and did a little bit of junk journaling. And not Linda, Shannon,
okay.
Marilyn Shannon, brought in all kinds of supplies for it.
Oh my god, I couldn't imagine how much.
And
that
there was tons and tons and tons of stuff that she brought.
Wow.
And people picked through it and like did their thing. And then she was like trying to get rid of it, like giving it away.
Take it.
And I was
Take it.
tempted to look, but I'm like, I can't.
I already
look.
have so much.
I have so much already, so I should not be bringing more home. But it's funny because like yesterday I was junk journaling because I do a lot of the gift bags that you get when you buy stuff here. And I was doing some of those up. And I was like, how do I have more stuff when I've used stuff? It's like, because it feels like you have more stuff than you.
It keeps
I'm like,
multiplying.
oh, I'll use up some of my supplies too. This will be great. And it's like, no, I think I have more.
I just added more to it somehow.
And then I follow a lot of junk journalers and on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. And one lady's like, I purged and I still have so much stuff.
It doesn't matter if you purge. And I find sometimes I don't like to let go of what I have usually. Mainly because I don't keep a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not
But
to.
also with craft supplies, you're always thinking,
You never
I might
know.
need to use it sometime.
I do that all the time. Like
Yeah.
even when I do stuff, because I often do some type of craft activity for the kids' birthday parties. And so even if I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really use this, I'm like, well, just in case, because I don't know what I'm going to do next year, or maybe in the years after, or with a random activity. Like I'm always finding something like crafty or artsy to do at some point.
Right.
So I'm always, you're right. You hoard shit, and you're like, why
You
am
do.
I holding this? It's like I could just buy it again, but then you also think about the environmental impacts. So you're like,
Well, one junk journaler had some good advice that I follow, that I've started to follow a bit. Because you're right, as junk journalers, we hoard things. So if we've got like this one sticker that's just so perfect so many times, if we have one or two left, we won't use it because we'll be afraid of losing it.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to get rid of this one great sticker. What if I have the one great project?
Yeah. So she said I usually buy like 5 or 6 of whatever so that I'm not hoarding them. Because you're more likely, like if you got 10 copies of that sticker, this is just a rough, example, then you're like, oh yeah, I can use one, no problem.
Yeah.
Or the lace, right? Buy a few yards of it.
Instead of
so
just
that,
a little bit.
yeah.
I'm on the process of like when you buy like really good products of something, not keeping it, because you see that a lot, especially in traditional artist medium, like I get like the super nice like paint palette or something,
right.
and you don't want to use it because it's so expensive or something.
Yeah.
And
so you never actually use it.
Exactly. So I've gone to the point now it's like, okay, no, if I get something, I'm buying it because I'm wanting to use it now.
Yeah.
Like even
And
like
give yourself permission to use it.
exactly, like even like my silk floss, I'm like, okay, I bought it because I know I was going to use it for a project then. I wasn't hoarding it. But you see that all the time, like people are like, oh, I bought like this really gorgeous hand-dyed silk floss that I can't
And then they never use it.
and they never use it because they don't have the perfect project for it. But I was
Yeah.
like, I've gone in the mindset of like, I'm gonna buy something to use it when I need it. Like instead of buying something just because I see it and I want it, and then,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I could use this. No, I have to have something in mind for it. Like, if I'm
Yeah.
going to get it, I'm okay spending the money on something more, but I have to know this is what I'm using it for.
Right.
Like, there's obviously exceptions to certain situations.
Of course, yeah.
As
Like
there always is.
if the maker of a set product
Yeah,
says, I'm
it's-
not making it anymore. All
yeah,
right,
if
how
it's
much
like,
you got? Because I'll
it's
buy it all.
It's exclusive, limited thing, or like maybe you're out somewhere on a trip and you've
Yeah.
never seen that, and you know you'll never be able to get it again.
Yeah.
Usually, like, obviously, this isn't a hard and fast rule, but
Yeah.
just for my own mental space and just so that I'm actually using the things that
No,
I buy.
that's totally fair.
I'm like, okay, if I have a project in mind, I'm going to buy this, and this is what I'm using. If I have extras, that's one thing, and I'll just put
Yeah.
it aside. But
yeah, of course.
it also helps too
But
if you have
don't
limited
save the
space.
good stuff.
Don't
for
save the
that
good stuff, because
perfect project, because it'll never
it'll
happen.
never come, and you'll be like way older, and you'll maybe you can't do your crafts the same way. Maybe you don't not into it. You don't have the love for it anymore, and now you have all this beautiful fabric you never use, or
Yeah.
floss, or paint, or whatever.
Yeah, enjoy the craft supplies.
Use it
You
now.
can always get more.
There's always going to be more beautiful, pretty stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're ever going to regret that you used it
Yeah.
on whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's supposed to be
exactly.
fun and enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, because, when I first started doing the bags, people loved the bags.
Yeah,
right?
the bags are cute.
Absolutely love them. I got a new batch that just came in today. And, but at the same time, some of them I forgot to take pictures of, because I'm like, oh, that was a great bag, what I
Yeah.
did, right? And so I've gotten smarter. I'm taking
Pictures so you can have it for later as kind of almost a reference for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because I go back
And a
on my
portfolio.
old junk journal videos that I have where I do the flip throughs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that was a great thing I did
Look
there.
at that. That's good. Actually, I'll have to request for you to make me some more for the teachers again this year.
Yeah,
She made
absolutely.
me junk ones for my teachers last year. So
yeah. So yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
need another one.
Okay.
Or three. not-
Three? Okay.
Three.
Yeah, I can do that up, no problem.
Wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, so if you're looking for good gift bags,
Yeah,
come here.
come here. Because sometimes people will come in and just want to buy a gift bag.
Yeah, I've done that.
And that's fine.
They're very pretty. And it makes it like, it feels more special than just any
Yes.
gift bag.
Yeah. They know it's not a dollar store gift bag.
Yeah, and it's so pretty that, like, if they wanted to keep it, they could easily, like, cut it out.
Yeah.
And, like, if they wanted to put, like, even frame it, or if they wanted to put, maybe they are a junk journal.
And put it in their journal.
Put it in their journal, or maybe they have, like, a journal they could put as the front cover. Like, there's so many things they could do.
Yeah.
With it, because it's so pretty. Or they could pass it on to someone else
Yeah.
if they know a teacher,
Yeah.
or whoever you're buying it for. If it's just a pretty bake, so you have all types of
Yeah.
styles. That she has Christmas ones, and mystic ones for obviously the Mystic store, and
Yeah. I've got
steampunk, butterfly.
Yeah. sort of Parisian, Victorian time, old-fashioned-y time.
Yeah, she's
things
got all
too.
types of things. They're always pretty.
Alice in
Skulls,
Wonderland.
yeah, Alice with skulls.
Yeah.
Keys.
Keys, yeah.
You've got all over the place.
Yeah, I'm all over the place as far
So-
as taste and style.
If you're
and
looking
things
for
that.
like something to kind of zhuzh up a gift, maybe if you don't feel like it's
Yeah.
if it's basic or plain.
Trust me,
or-
the bags will impress them. They'll
yeah,
be
I'm
like,
like,
bam.
this is such a nice bag, especially if it's a woman, because women tend to really look at bags.
Yeah, they do.
If I always keep bags like, this is a nice bag.
Yeah.
Or boxes too. I'm a
Yeah.
box person. Like,
Yeah.
this is a nice box.
Yeah, we
I
should keep this because it'll be handy one day.
I just did that with Ayanda. He bought me a bunch of clothing recently because he used to have this clothing line that I really loved. That was Canadian owned, but the person had like closed down their shop. But they were moving, so they found a bunch of older stuff. So I ended up bought it all for me.
Oh, nice.
But the boxes that it came in, I'm like, those are nice boxes. You should keep those boxes.
Nice.
He's like, you're more excited about the boxes than the clothing. I'm like, well, no, I'm excited about the clothing too, but this is a nice box.
Come on, admire this box with me.
And there was two of them. I'm like, these are good boxes. We can use these.
There's nothing like a quality box.
It really was. And it was one of those ones that like opens up and then closes and slides. And it was like sturdy.
Nice.
It was a good box.
Nice.
I do like the clothing though. I am wearing the pants.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're like it's like comfy wear. It's
Okay.
like soft and cozy.
Okay.
And they were really good brands.
Nice.
It's a shame they
Shut down. Though?
Yeah, it was just the one person who was doing it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was nice though because they did try and do everything. They did everything through Canada, so it was all completely Canadian owned, Canadian made.
Right.
And I think
Clothing is a hard industry.
I think that was part of it. It was, and like it's because it was expensive,
Right.
of course. But honestly, the quality of it was worth it, and so
Nice.
I liked. I have some stuff I had for quite a few years. I've worn consistently,
Oh, okay.
and
And it's still
it's still in
fresh
great.
as a daisy.
It's really fresh as a daisy. Like they're very good condition for how often I wear them. To be honest.
Wow. Cool. Cool.
But,
Yeah, because you pay the price
you pay the price
if you
and it was
get the
nice
cheap
to-
clothing.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you do get ready. Sometimes you do get lucky, and
Okay.
you do get the random random
Well,
cheap
sometimes,
item.
yeah. Some items you do. You look out and you're like, hey,
Because
this
there's
has been
some
with
things
me
I've gone for
forever.
the kids at Walmart. I'm like, this thing is still kicking around. Like,
Yeah.
it looks in great condition. But then sometimes you buy something like, and it fell apart like within a few
Yeah,
washes.
the GT boutique is a little like that too.
I do find GT is a bit like that.
I do have some stuff that has been around forever and
Yeah,
ever.
and then some stuff that just whoof.
Yeah, it's like it's a one wear item.
Yeah, the wind blew it away.
And now it's part of my pajama collection.
I do like buying quality clothing when I can, though. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard. It can be harder as a fat person, though, because
Yeah.
of course everything's more expensive when you're fat.
Yeah, because apparently they have to use yards and yards of extra.
Tons of extra.
Meanwhile,
fat.
the shoulders and underarms don't quite fit you because it dips down like here below your.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know.
and
how,
the shirt comes up to here.
Yeah, I don't know what proportions they must think fat people have.
Yeah.
We have gigantic arms,
So that
no torso.
But then the thighs of the pants are like.
Oh
this.
my god, they're so massive. It's like I could go on a roof and I could glide down with
Exactly.
these things. Like those.
Those flying squirrels.
Exactly. So it's like too much, but
Yeah.
I do like to buy quality when I can because
Yeah.
it pays off.
It does,
It
and
does.
it's good to have a few quality pieces in your closet.
Yeah.
Some seasonal stuff is fine. You can go cheap there because it'll change out in a couple of years anyways.
Yeah.
Because those what they call the cold shoulder ones, where you had a strap here, your shoulder was,
Oh.
and then you had a sleeve.
Yeah, I've had some of those.
Yeah, me
cutouts too.
Yeah, and I think those are kind of going the way of.
Oh, they're definitely going out.
Yeah.
100%. You don't see those as often, and
No.
even I don't really like wearing. I only have.
I didn't find they fit that well.
They were kind of awkward. I do have a couple, and I like how they fit this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was always like, why? Especially
Because the strap always ended up down where the sleeve
well,
was anyway.
and one I had was longer, and it had like a spot here and a spot here. Like it was kind of like
Oh.
strings, not strings, but kind of strings.
Oh, okay.
And one was like here, but it's like they made it so. I don't know what they were expecting you to do with it, but the string is so long, and I'm like, it's flappy everywhere. It gets into everything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what? How big of a bow am I supposed to like have on my arm?
Big giant pink bow.
Like, what am I, a present? We used to. It's like I have to fix
That's
this
like
up.
bat sleeves. I don't know how anyone
Oh.
functions with bat sleeves.
I've seen some. I saw one that did look cute because the '90s is really coming back. That
Yeah.
'90s, like early 2000, Buffy kind of.
But you can't function in those.
No.
You can't do dishes or housework or
No.
even writing. It gets in your way sometimes.
It's good for like if you want to go out and you're not doing a whole lot.
Yeah,
but-
it's an evening thing
Yeah.
where you're just sipping drinks, potentially snacking on
yeah.
food.
Even snacking, I'm thinking like you
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, because
Because I did see a shirt that looked cute, but it had those things, and I was like, oh, it looks so cute.
yeah,
But those would be so annoying. Like you
Yeah.
can function in everyday life. It's definitely a going out.
yes,
But even like if you were eating dinner, like
it would still get in the way.
So it'd be like you said, going out maybe for drinks, maybe light appetizers.
Yeah,
Probably dancing,
yeah, movies, maybe.
movies. Something where not having to move your arm or be in
Yeah,
space of anything.
yeah, exactly. Because one of the girls one time at the spa wore a shirt that had bat sleeves.
Oh.
Drove her bananas all
Well,
day
yeah.
long. 'Cause
You eventually
she-
just want to shove them in, and you're like,
yeah.
get away.
She was getting into the wax. with her
Oh
sleeves
god! Oh, the wax.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
that shirt's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever lost.
Yeah. So
Once
it's like-
wax gets on your clothing, that's
Oh,
it, man.
Yeah, that's why we had certain. I had a
You had a uniform.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yoga pants and
and
some
yeah,
type of top.
yeah,
They didn't really care
but,
about
yeah, but t-shirt,
black usually because
yeah,
black was
just get a dozen black t-shirts. You're golden after that.
Yeah, you don't need nothing else. Just
Yeah.
black
Because you're going to get
pants,
dirty,
black
and
shirts,
a lot of the shit that you're going to get on your shirt is
and
not
make
going
it
to come off.
comfortable because it's always way more physical than you think.
Yeah.
Especially depending on what kind of services you tend to do a lot of. Something
And
that
some
was like
flat shoes.
Yeah, flat shoes.
I don't understand
breathable stuff.
stylists that can be in heels.
Oh, I guess it depends on the person, but I can agree with that.
Heels all day on a concrete floor, basically.
Your knees.
Yeah.
Good luck to your knees.
And your tendons on the back of your heels shrink when you're wearing.
Well, that's like
heels.
anything. I talked to my workout person, personal. I guess technically a personal coach in some ways.
Okay.
But it's not even just heels, but like anything. Anytime you're in a certain position in your body,
Right.
all your ligaments, like your muscles, will tighten one way. And
Right.
then you get loose. So like the other way is too loose, and then it's
Right.
you're uncomfortable and unbalanced, and you just keep creating problems
Because
for
I know
yourself.
high heels are very pretty shoes. But I feel like we're going back to the days of bonding our feet. Remember the Asian practice of bonding the feet to the point where
your toes would.
yeah.
Ugh, I've seen some
Yeah.
pictures. Not
Yeah, they're pretty
comfortable.
gnarled afterwards. And they
Yeah.
can't walk.
No, well,
They need assistance to walk.
Well, yeah, because you've lost all balance. You have no toes essentially.
Yeah.
Your toes is just
Well, no, your foot is permanently in this.
no, but oftentimes if you've ever seen them, their toes start to curl under their
Yeah,
feet
that's true. I've seen
because
that.
it's been so they've been
But they've
so tight.
got little baby feet. Like,
Yeah.
it's not proportionally
No.
right either. It's just like, ooh,
I'd
what the
rather
hell?
big feet than baby feet. 'Cause at
Yeah.
least big feet, you're very solid. You might be clunk around a little.
Yeah.
You might kick things about. Ina does that. He's got big feet for his body.
Yeah, cement blocks. I
Cement
call
blocks. But so sometimes he kicks things. I'm like, did you not see that?
it. Yeah, like get control of your feet.
But I'd rather that than I can't like. Then you're like,
Yeah,
ugh.
because even when some of them got the bondage taken off, but even then they still couldn't walk because their feet weren't
They're
used
no,
to.
they're well, and just like also that they're so deformed at that point. Like
Yeah.
they're so.
Like even when they're bonded though too, like they have to have a couple of ladies to help them walk.
That just sounds like pure
It's
torture.
like, why?
I know I get like some cultural stuff, but that just seemed like unnecessarily like torturous.
They
for
don't
no
do it
reason.
anymore. Thank
No,
goodness.
it's no.
But
they don't.
I feel like we've gone from that to high heels.
High heels are definitely uncomfortable for sure. I think it depends on the high heel because some people are fine with high heels, and if you get the right high heels, it can be fine if you're getting the right comfortable. They are quote unquote comfortable high heels. But I think it depends on the type of high heels you're getting, right?
However, Skechers has just come out with a new shoe that's a slip-on, and that you don't have
Oh, that
to
you
bend.
push, yeah. That you
Yeah,
can
you just push and go in because they know the baby boomers. I'm on the very tail end of the baby boomers. Are needing shoes that they can just slip on because they can't
push
bend
on.
over, they can't tie as well, and no one wants to wear Velcro shoes, right? Because remember,
Oh.
the generation ahead of me, they did the Velcro when they got older.
Yeah,
right?
I can
and you
still
look
remember
like,
grandma's like Velcro
yeah, and you felt,
beige shoes.
you felt like you were like, well, I'm not disabled, but I
You
feel
do kind
disabled.
of go back to toddler, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Velcro shoes. I have to teach my
Exactly.
kids how to tie shoes. They still do Velcro shoes.
Oh, okay.
Teaching
Yeah.
kids how to tie shoes is...
Because they do have a kids version of that shoe too, because probably a lot of kids had Velcro shoes
Well,
growing up
it's tricky.
and didn't really learn how to tie shoes.
Well, I think it's also too because a lot of times in school, depending on what grade you are in, like in the kindergarten, when the kids were in kindergarten, they said no lace-up shoes. You could only do Velcro because they can't sit there and help a bunch of kids
Yeah,
do like
it's a time thing.
it's a time thing. So I was like, oh, fair enough. But because like we are minimalist with a lot of our stuff, we never bother getting them shoes like
Right.
with laces because like, well, they have their shoes for school.
Yeah.
And like and
and as a parent, why wouldn't you get Velcro if that was the choice? Right?
exactly. Like, and they tell you already, so you just instinctually get it. So now I'm like, I gotta teach you girls how to tie your shoes, but they still have a lot of Velcro options. Like, there's not a lot of shoelace options.
Right, right.
I mean, there are, but not. Velcro is definitely like.
Well, I find that lace-up shoes where you have to tie a shoe is becoming a lost art, like cursive writing, because they've just brought it back to the schools.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I had a client and I was talking about this, and she said she actually wrote out a note for someone and she handed it to a young girl. It was like at a work thing, like she was at a restaurant or a shop or something, and she wanted to leave a note, and she said, "Here, make sure Brian or whatever gets this." And she looked at it, and she's like, "What does it say?" She couldn't read it.
Wow.
And it wasn't because she was illiterate. It's because she didn't
know what the cursive meant.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't write in cursive, so I feel like my cursive skill has probably like gone down because like I do a mixture of like just print and cursive. So
and most adults
do. And so like I probably could properly do the cursive letter for each one.
I could if I had to.
If you asked me, I don't know if I could. I'd probably be guessing a few.
Yeah, quite a few. Like Q is a weird one in cursive, and it's not what it looks like in printing.
No, I feel there's quite a few I probably get wrong 100%.
Right.
100%. I can guarantee that.
Yeah,
but I could read cursive.
So she had the teacher cursive, right? Which is beautiful.
I know, teacher handwriting is so beautiful.
Oh my god, like handwriting or printing, if you have the teacher version of it, it's
so beautiful.
Bang, nice.
And the teacher gave me a list of the class, like asked for for Valentine's, like, oh, what's like the class list?
Right.
And so she wrote by hand, and I was like, oh my god, your writing is so, and it was not even lined, it was blank paper, and she wrote it so well. I was like,
is that something they get taught, or is it just that's how you screen teachers? Like,
right? Especially nowadays, because it's
and then write this. Yeah, you're in.
100%, especially nowadays, because like there's, a lot of it is they do a lot still tech based now because a lot of it is. Although this last week at their school or the week before, it's the week before. And a little bit of the week before that week, there was a cyber instance that affected a bunch of the school boards. Someone was trying to get into the attack this. Yeah, so they were down internet,
trying to up their grades.
Yeah, someone I don't know, but they had some type of incident. I know, so that all the internet was gone for like a week and a half or so.
Oh my goodness!
So even now we can't send emails to the teacher, but the teachers couldn't even all last week couldn't even get into their emails. They couldn't even get into some schools' phone lines were having issues because their phone lines sometimes are internet based too, right?
Yeah.
It was a hot mess.
Well, it was like that time when didn't a lot of those phones go down and the hospitals were freaking out.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
I can't quite remember the details.
Remember that
it did affect my phone.
Yeah, it affected a lot of people.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I don't remember that.
And some guy in some hospital went out and bought pagers, like old school, so that they could at least page each other.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because communication's key in a hospital.
100%. That's
like how they did
number one.
You look back and go, how did they do it without phones and
I know. We've
internet?
become so reliant on our technology.
We have, and even I've been watching Mad Men, so it takes place in the 50s, 60s time range.
Like why more issues occurred.
Yeah, and they just had telephones. They didn't even have pagers. So if you're not in the office, there's no way to get a hold of you. You can call their house, you can call their office. If they're not at either place,
who knows?
Who knows where they are? And there's no tracing them or tracking them or anything like that.
Terrible.
And they're still using they're the electric typewriters, right?
Oh, yeah. God, I could imagine.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because now it's everyone's kind of tied. Now it's the reverse. We've gone maybe
a little too far.
Too far to some degree. Some people are really attached to their phones. I'm one of them, so I'm not one to be throwing any stones in a glass house.
I can put my phone down and be okay with just not looking at it, but I need it near me. If it's not near me, then I'm like, okay, where's my phone, just in case,
I'm a bit like that.
What if there's an emergency?
I'm a bit like that because if I'm doing something, I'm not really good for checking my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm later, I'm oh shoot, I missed all these texts because I wasn't paying attention. But I do often have it because I was I like to check the time.
Yeah.
If something's like you said, emergency, if someone's gonna call me, I have it just in case. I mean, I hate picking up phone, but if someone's calling me, it's usually because it's an emergency situation.
Yeah. Well, you guys still follow the rule that I gave you with your first cell phone. If mommy's calling, answer. Never don't answer.
Never don't answer. You must
always I said that when you were younger because it would be I need to know where you were at.
I know.
But if I'm calling you, there's something up.
Right? I know. I'm trying to teach that with the kids with their walkie-talkies because I have walkie-talkies now for them.
Right.
And I'm if mom is beeping at you or calling you on the thing, you have to respond.
Yeah,
the whole reason.
that's the rule
That was the whole reason for
of
it.
the walkie-talkies. Because I said to you guys, the rule of the cell phones is you always have to answer when mommy calls. If you don't answer, the cell phone will be taken away.
Yeah.
Ah.
Cell phones. Yeah, the kids are always asking, when do we get a cell phone? I'm like, we'll
Do
see.
any kids in their class have a cell phone?
Well, apparently their friend across the street has a cell phone. It's her dad's old one. Whether or not she uses it for anything, I don't actually know.
It's like, who does she have to call if none of them have cell phones, right?
Well, that's
like,
exactly. I was like, I don't know. Like, you're a little young. That's why I was like, I'll do walkie-talkies because then you can be out and I can get a hold of you. You can contact me.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they don't go far. They don't go where I don't know where
Yeah,
they're going.
yeah. But
or
it's
anything.
always nice to be able to have that communication.
But,
Absolutely.
yeah, she has said, Lucy, quote unquote, has said some people, and Hazel has admitted she has a phone, but I don't know what she uses the phone, if it's just
Like
she
an
has
internet game thing or something.
Yeah, like
right?
what she uses it for.
Can you
So
put adult blocks on a cell phone?
yeah, you can put blocks on anything
Okay.
tech related. So I'm sure it has blocks on it, but the
Yeah.
girls keep asking like, when do we get a phone? I'm like,
Because
well,
I'm just like, if they accidentally click on something they shouldn't click on and, hear or see something they shouldn't hear or see
yeah,
at
you
that
can
age.
you can put blocks on, and there's
Oh,
like
okay.
different modes you can put your phone into.
Oh, okay. I
for
wasn't
stuff.
sure because that might be part of the reason why a lot of parents don't get their kids a cell phone.
No, you can even get cell phones now. There's like certain market for phones that I think are like specifically related for kids that
Oh, okay.
are like basic, like they just have like maybe some call
So
text
instead
or
of
whatever.
latchkey kids, they're going to be cell phone kids.
Cell phone kids, exactly.
I'm home, Mom. Okay, I just wanted to let you know. Bang.
Exactly. I'm alive. I made it home. Don't have to worry. Lock the door. Yes, lock the door. Don't worry.
Trying to get potatoes on for dinner.
I was gonna just say, I was gonna give you something for don't worry, I'll get dinner started. Literally was just gonna say that. I'm like, maybe not everyone did that as a kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's sort of the first one home has to put the potatoes on.
Yeah, because I know Amanda had a phone. He had somewhat early-ish, but he was also he was saying like he went out a lot.
Yeah.
When he was younger.
Yeah.
And because mom was busy with two younger kids, so she needed to get like a hold of them.
Of
so I've
course,
told the
yeah.
kids like, if you're doing something where like in that situation, then we might look at getting you a phone earlier. But
Right.
like I didn't get a phone until I was like maybe 13, 14.
13, 14, I think, because it's when we first moved to Nelson Street and you had a longer walk.
Yeah. Well, no, because I bought my first cell phone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember it was like
Oh, sorry, I thought that was your phone for some reason.
it was a Rogers, or no, it was a Virgin Pay As You Go.
Oh.
And I bought it with money I had earned.
Oh, okay.
So I think I remember being later because it wasn't when I first went to school.
Oh, okay.
It was like my second year.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
it may have been, I think I was about 14. Like
Yeah.
I was later than a lot of my other friends with phones.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise I just would use regular house phones and just call
Regular house
landlines.
landlines.
You don't get
That
those.
and payphones. They've gone by the
I
wayside.
was just talking to it. I'm like, I remember. I was like, are there any payphones around anymore? Like, I can't think of anywhere.
There are definitely.
I only
some,
see
but
the
they're
taxi ones now.
Yeah, there's taxi ones, yes. But yeah, like En route has a bunch, I think, too.
Oh, en route would make sense. That would
Because,
make
like if your phone
phone died or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense because I was like, I don't know because I remember I used to calling collect all the time.
Yes,
And
yes, I remember you guys calling collect.
Oh my
I
God.
forgot about that.
We used to call collect all the time and be like, oh, we're walking home from wherever.
Yeah.
Like, can we go here?
You've got a collect call from Catherine. You've got a collect call from Marcel. Do you accept? Yes.
We would call collect all the time because we never had change with us.
No,
rarely.
exactly.
So we're like, okay, just call collect.
You guys called me almost on a daily.
Yeah, we did. Well, we were always out and about somewhere.
You
We're like, I
were,
should
you
probably
were.
call and let them know.
Yeah.
We're like an hour away from home.
Yeah. It's like, okay, what time are you gonna be back? Do you need to pick up?
There were times that we did call and be like, we're too tired. Can you
Yes.
come pick us up? Because it would be like an hour and a half walk.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times we went down to like Ontario Park when it still had the
Oh yeah.
the amusement park
yeah.
there. So
I miss that.
we'd often walk there, which is a pretty decent walk from where we lived at that time.
Yeah, it was.
It was like a 45-minute plus walk, I think.
Yeah.
So
And then you spent time at the amusement park.
At the music park. So sometimes we'd walk back, but a lot of times we'd be tired, so then we just call clutch, like, just come home and get her to pick us up.
Oh, too funny. Too funny. Yeah, there were a couple times where you walked back only because I didn't have a vehicle or
Yeah,
something.
there were some times you're like, oh, I don't have the car, or I can't remember. There were some reasons, and we always hated, like, oh,
Yeah.
the walk back's always the worst.
It is, because,
And
you know, the
it's such
fun's
a-
over. You've spent your money. You've eaten
Yeah.
the candy. It's like, the day's done. Why am I still walking?
Even now, like, I made the I say smart, but it wasn't really a smart decision. I was doing a field trip for Luce, and initially I was going to take the car, but I was like, oh, I don't want to, like, drive into the work and then drive the kids to school and then pick them up
Right.
later. And I was like, I'll just walk to the school. I haven't done my workout in a little bit. This will be great.
Okay.
It's like a 30-minute walk, basically, to the
Oh,
school
okay.
from my place.
Wow.
And I did it there and back. And I just stopped at Giant Tiger on the way home, too, to pick up stuff. So I added to my load.
Right. And a little bit of like it added to your walk.
It would add to my
too.
walk. It was a little bit detour, exactly. And for Lucy's field trip, we did some walking because we went on the bus, like city bus. So we had to walk to the city bus stop that we were taking.
Okay.
So I walked a lot that day. And literally, though, when I was dying by the last time, I was like walking home, and it had gotten warm when I was wearing a big sweater.
Oh.
And I was tempted to stop and take it off. But I'm like, if I stop, I don't think I'll keep going.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
like, just keep the
The
momentum.
engine is just going to shut down.
I
if
was like,
stop.
I just gotta keep the momentum.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna
Plus,
keep.
then you have to carry the sweater.
Well, that's exactly it. I was like, I already have two bags because I had the bag I brought with me for Lucy's field trip,
Right.
and then I had the bag for the groceries I had. So I'm
Right.
like, well, what am I going to hold it? I'm already holding everything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I could wrap it around my waist, but then I have to put the stuff down.
Yeah.
I have to take off my sweater, tie it up, and it's going to be even harder to keep going.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
already feeling it.
Yeah.
And literally, though, I get a call just before I'm like around the corner, and they're like, oh, Annabelle fell asleep at school. And I'm like, literally like, okay, well, I'm just walking home right now. I'm almost there. I'll just drop this off and I'll come and get her.
Oh my
Literally
God.
went around, finished my walk, got down the house, put my stuff down, grabbed the car keys, grabbed the car seat, went back up the stairs, went to the car, went to go get her.
Oh, there's nothing like your kids to motivate you, though, right?
Oh my God. It was like, my body was like, no more. I was like so looking forward to sitting down just for a little bit, sit in front of the fan for a bit, cool myself down.
Right,
And I was
right.
like, no, just gotta keep on, keep on.
Yeah.
So I didn't even
No
stop. I
rest
just
for
kept
the weary.
I just kept the momentum. I'm like, no stopping. Just keep going. Just keep going. Went down the stairs, grabbed the stuff. Just kept going. Just kept.
Yeah, just keep going. Don't shut down yet. I will reward you later,
Yeah.
but keep going now.
Keep going. And I didn't really eat much that day either. So I was also working on not being very well hydrated and not eating very well.
Right,
so
right, yeah.
not a good combination. But I did get a lot of steps in. So
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
so it did pay off for my lack of working out. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God.
Your body's like grabbing fat and throwing it into the furnace to keep
Yeah.
you going.
Honestly, right? It was intense.
She's still going, guys. Keep her going.
Just a little bit longer, she keeps saying. We can't keep going.
And then one guy's going, yeah, she told us that 5 minutes ago. Broken promises.
Lies. Can't trust anyone in power.
Exactly.
Start a coup.
Send a complaint up the pipe.
Exactly. Honestly, yeah, my body was rebelling. It helped because I hadn't been very consistent about my workout for a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I did initially. So I was like, oh, I've been I've been busy and I've been, not
Yeah.
doing my workouts. I gotta recoup. I think I did too much. I think
Too
I
much recouping.
right at once.
You were unbalanced in recouping, and then you became unbalanced in
I
exercising.
did too much, exactly. But it's okay. Balance. I did do my workout both this week, so there's
Yeah.
been balance.
Okay,
I
good,
still have
good.
to do my
Trying to get the
walks.
pendulum just to swing
Yeah.
like this, not like this.
Woo, exactly. That's the hard part.
Well, we as humans often overcorrect.
Oh, 100%. I always overcorrect. I'm bad for that. Not always, but you do often.
Yeah. You don't want me to do this? Okay, I'm going to do the opposite of that. No, I'm not going to
Change.
come center and do a normal,
Yeah, I'm not going to balance
sane
myself.
thing. I'm going to be insane on the other side.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll make sure that's completely fixed.
Yeah.
But but now they're doing too much of that. Well, too bad. That's what you asked for. So now that's what we're doing. That's just the way it
Nurse
is.
is like, no, that's not what I asked for.
Too much of a good thing, as they say, right?
Yeah. Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Well, we've covered a lot of topics.
Yeah, we went all over the place.
Yeah. So hopefully next week we'll hear from Diamond Heart.
Yeah.
See how that coffee date went.
Exactly.
Or that walk by the water.
The water, if they live by water, we don't know.
Yeah.
We're fortunate that we live by water.
Yeah,
Not everyone lives by water.
If they're local in Kingston, maybe they went down and walked by the water. Who knows?
Yeah, or a park, or
Our park, yeah, wherever.
where people go on dates.
Yeah.
Where do people go on dates? Coffee is usually a big one.
Yeah, like a first time date, you're usually looking at coffee or a
it's
walk.
less
or-
commitment.
yeah, it's not a whole big dinner.
Walk.
Although some people do dinner as a first date.
Yeah, walk. Make sure you're in a public place with lots of
Yes.
people.
Yes.
I always feel like it's weird, those things you have to think of safety.
Yeah, like the things they do online these days, like dating sites and stuff. You're always told never to meet a stranger online, and yet so many people do.
Do online dating now.
Yeah.
But if you're not to think that's why coffee is such a safe one, because it's like one, it's just a short thing and it can go for as little or as long as you want.
Yeah.
So it feels less like serious.
Yeah.
And then it's also usually coffee shops typically are busy. There's
Yeah.
lots of people coming in and out. So there's lots of like safety in numbers, right?
And you could do talking. Right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes people will say, "Oh, he asked me to the movies."
You
There's
can't
no
do talking in the movies.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a movie date, you have to go out for drinks or food after. Ideally both, because you're hungry after a movie, unless
Yeah.
you've ate like a lot of
Like if you're
popcorn or
going to a
something.
late show, then maybe you want to do dinner before or whatever.
Yeah.
But plan on something. I mean, movie theaters these days have places where you can just sit.
That's true. Sit and like eat, or
You know,
they have
have-
food and coffee now. Like
Yeah.
Starbucks has like a whole coffee thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
what
you
is
can
that,
get,
cafe?
like, pastries and
And you have arcades
pretzels,
too, arcade
arcades,
games, so you
yeah.
can do stuff like that. Here we are giving people date ideas.
yeah. And it's not too much of a commitment either. Like,
Yeah.
An activity is fun. Hiking is fun, but maybe you're not a full-time hiker.
Yeah.
Or, bowling or something. That, like, because I've heard that as a first date. I'm like, that's too much commitment.
Bowling, yeah.
It's too physical to at first,
Well,
like,
and if you suck at it too,
yeah, or you fall
or
and
you
you're
fall,
embarrassed.
or I don't know, you slip on those shoes are slippery.
They are slippery. The clown shoes are very slippery.
Yeah, I remember one time going on kind of a first date with a guy, and it was bowling.
Oh, okay.
Ironically, I did not hear this advice, and I was so nervous, I threw the ball behind me.
Oh,
and
no!
literally, I was like, I'm gonna make this so good, and it went back so far, and it just released from my hand.
Oh my
Thankfully, no one was injured.
god. I was gonna say, did anything get hurt or
no
anyone?
one got hurt.
Okay, good.
And yeah, so that was a really great first impression. I'm sure he really liked that.
Yeah, so bowling's not, or skate. Sometimes people will go skating, if it's a
I
wintertime
would not go skating. I'm not a skater.
Yeah,
I would.
so it's sort of gauge it. Like,
I guess it depends on the type of person. If you are both skaters, or if you're both bowlers, or if you're physically active, I think there are some things that can be a good first date. I guess depends on the person, but I think a good first date is something like is short and sweet, not a big commitment.
where you're not having to display your physical prowess.
Yeah, just
You know?
something like more to get to know the person like.
Because men are funny. They like to show off, eh?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
at this party once where a few of the guys got together because it was a backyard kind of party, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it was in the country, so it was a larger backyard, not your typical
No, you're
city.
typical, yeah.
And there was this big log that was sitting there, and some of the guys got together and decided who could lift
Oh my
the log.
God.
So they
Why?
were there lifting, and they were clearly like looking over to see
Oh, you
who's-
see how
who's-
strong I
who's checking me
am?
out. But it's hilarious. It was like gorillas in the mist, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like watching
The
that.
peacocking.
They were peacocking for sure.
Like,
And,
look at me, I'm so strong.
and it's funny how men are like, especially young men are like that. Right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily older men because they've
well,
matured.
I was gonna say they really hurt their back.
Well, yes, there's fear of injury too, but they're past that point of
I've
having
definitely
to.
seen some older men that still feel that way. That
Yeah,
feel like,
yes,
oh,
that's true. They forget they're
I'm
not
good
young.
as young guy.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
still have prowess.
But I think older men are better at showing that they're gentlemen. They don't necessarily need to do the strength tests.
Yeah, I think that's why I always liked Diana, because he was never like that. He never peacocked. It was just like,
Oh, okay.
this is who I am. I'm like, I like that.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Never had
nice.
to, like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't mind,
show off.
you know, like when I was a younger woman, I didn't mind when men peacocked. It's just what they do sometimes, right? To show you they're big and powerful. And it's like, I can keep you safe, I'll keep bad guys away from you, blah, 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 whatever.
Here we roar!
Yeah, exactly.
Big
But,
strong
you know,
man.
at the same time, you got to remind them you're the lioness. He might be the lion, but you're the lioness. Yeah, there's a lot of photos that I really like. That National Geographic is one of the people that took some of these photos of a lioness yelling at a lion.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just like, ah.
And
I
just
guess,
like,
oh, this is the other meme I saw. I guess when a lioness goes into heat and she obviously wants to have babies, she will seek out a lion and she'll make him do her so many times, like till he's the point of exhaustion. And if she's not completely satisfied that she's now impregnated, she will go around and bite his balls.
oh my God, I feel like I have heard that. How terrible. Can you
And this crew took pictures of two lions mating, and each of them had this look on their face.
So
Like,
intense.
I'm so angry, and this is very intense.
It's like,
You better put some babies in me.
God. I feel like there are some women who are like that, though, naturally.
They'll bite their partner's balls and say, "You need to
Give me
impregnate me."
baby.
This is like, wow, that's fierce.
So say the ball biting. Good God.
Another reason why the lioness is stronger than the lion.
She bites balls.
She bites balls. Well, I always say, you know, when they had circus things, I know a lot of people think they brought lions in because the male ones, because they had the big mane and were very impressive. But I often remind people, oh, that part was true, absolutely. But also, you can't tame a lioness. She'll bite your face off. Because she has no problem biting
they're
balls.
the hunters, too, aren't they?
They are the
So,
hunters.
like,
yeah.
yeah, you're not going to bring the one who is taking down the food for everyone. That just doesn't make sense. No, thank you.
She gives the impression that the lion's the king. She's like, yeah, you can have the crown,
You can look.
but I'm influencing the crown, and that's the more powerful position.
As they say, was it like behind every great man is a great woman?
Is a better woman.
Better woman, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the case for everything, but that's
but-
pretty common.
Yeah. I mean, we need each other as partners and stuff.
Balance.
Balance. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Again, we've gone all over the place.
Not all over the place. I know.
Giving you a Canadian goodbye.
I was just gonna say again, it was a Canadian goodbye. No Canadian properly says goodbye.
Yeah, we
have
start
to-
with goodbye and then we
then
go
we have
another
to-
30
we have to-
minutes.
yeah, and then it's another story, and then you say goodbye again, and it's another story, and more talking.
Yeah, exactly.
I never, like, when people used to say that, I never got that, and then as I get older, I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah,
Like, I get it.
yeah.
You're right. That's a totally Canadian thing. Like,
Yeah.
then you never just say goodbye and leave.
Yeah.
That would be considered rude. Like, unless,
Yes.
like, it was a real emergency.
Yeah, unless you really had to go.
Yeah,
We would-
and you're like running late, like, oh shoot, I was supposed to leave at 11:30, and it's like 11:40.
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh okay, yeah, no, go,
And
go.
we'll talk you to the car though.
Yeah, we'll still talk you to the car. We'll still make you about at least 5 to 10 minutes later than you actually were already.
Exactly. It's because we care.
Yeah. The only time is like if it's a real emergency, you get a call, like your kid's sick or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Then you're like, okay, goodbye, go.
Go, yeah.
But like typically,
Can I do anything? I'll clean your house while
yeah,
you're gone.
exactly. What do you need? I pick you up dinner. You want dinner? I can bring that.
Exactly.
But no, yeah. Goodbye is never a real goodbye. It's
No.
just the starting. You
It's
have to.
the starting of this ritual.
Yeah,
Of goodbye.
I think that's why Canadians are always looking at the time too, because you know realistically, if I need to get out of here by like this time, you have to start goodbye at least 30 minutes before you actually want to leave, so that way you
Yeah.
leave at a reasonable time.
We're not looking at the time because we're bored. We're looking at the time because we need to give ourselves that 20-minute buffer
Yeah,
for the goodbye.
yeah. Otherwise, you're there forever.
Yeah.
You're never
You
leaving.
could go on.
Could go on.
Going on. You know,
Well-
we just spent 5 minutes talking about goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. And this was supposed to be the goodbye. And we'd already gone on a tangent before about lines and lines biting lines' balls.
Yeah, here you go. This is an educational program
Yeah.
as well as an entertaining one.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyone who knows true Canadians knows. Yeah.
We say sorry and we take forever with our goodbyes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm constantly saying sorry.
Oh, me too. I say sorry to inanimate objects.
Oh yeah. Sorry to that. Sorry to this.
Yeah.
Sorry to the sky.
I bump something like a chair. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Or anytime you're in the store, even if there's tons of room between you and the person and the aisle, you're just like, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's lots of room for both of us. We're still saying, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, excuse me. I just need to go over here. I'm sorry. I'm in your. We also have big bubbles though.
Yeah, Canadians are known for their
Like
birth.
in this is like this. We're close.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
family.
We're family.
But if I was this close to someone in the store, like, oh, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of in your space.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
I would be way over here if I didn't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
This is close for like if
Like
you know
even
the
in our
person.
restaurants, if you're seated too close to the next table, you feel a little.
Oh, it feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I hate that sometimes, and you're like. You literally angle yourself away.
Yeah.
So you're like you almost don't properly sit in your chair because neither of you want to like be in each other's space.
Exactly.
And you don't want to be rude. Like,
Yeah,
like you're trying
yeah.
to like respect each other's.
Yeah, I'll
Personal
shrink my
space.
bubble on my back.
Yeah, like,
and I'll expand it out this way.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you lean a lot more. So, and like angled away so you're not like in their space.
Who designed this restaurant?
Like
It needs more space.
I know. I had sometimes some of the places like downtown because of course some of the
Are smaller.
are smaller.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, why are we so close to one another?
Yeah.
It's like I had no room.
You have 10 tables in here. You need to just have 6.
Yeah, Canadians love our space.
We do.
That's why we also have so much space.
Yeah.
We just love it all.
We're the biggest country in the world for a reason.
Yeah, 'cause
So we like big berths.
big births
And bubbles.
Bubbles, yeah. I know. Even like before they did the 6 feet, Canadians were doing that naturally. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Every time I still see, because of course you still see some places that have like the markers.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where I would have stood anyways. Like
Yeah,
naturally speaking,
yeah.
I would.
I mean,
never,
it was a little bigger
It was
than
like-
our
I
natural.
was gonna say-
but not by much, by
I
a
was-
foot maybe.
I was gonna say it wasn't drastically. I might take one step over.
Yeah.
It now because most of the time we don't follow that much.
No, well,
Um,
they're not.
They're not. There's no
applicable
mandate. There's no.
any-
Yeah. There's no mandate really on it or
Yeah.
anything. But yeah, I might take one step.
It's
But
only if it gets really crowded in a store
if it's good,
that you might
Then yeah, if there's a huge line, then you start to like get,
inch in a
and
little
like
bit.
this would be as close I still.
Oh,
and
yeah,
even that is a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't get
And
that
this would be
close even.
squished.
Yeah,
this
this
would be
would
like
be
us
squished.
being squished in a line.
Exactly, because in grocery stores you can use the cart
Cart.
as your.
Oh yeah, or basket. I use
Yeah.
basket a lot.
Yeah. Oh my
Because
goodness.
if I don't always have a cart, I mean nowadays when you have a family, you typically have a cart. But
Yeah.
if I'm just shopping for a few things, I'll have a basket.
Yeah.
I swing that thing around to keep people away.
This is my personal
Who-
space.
who-
But
who?
the weird thing is, you swing it around, everybody respects it.
Yeah.
They're like, I know. Because when we went to Europe, yeah, Europeans don't have the same
I've heard a
spatial-
lot of places are like much more like touching tactile.
Yeah.
I, like
Like if I brushed up against someone,
that would be so uncomfortable.
that was not
That
a
would be-
problem. We
yeah.
were in a lineup for some dinner that it was a dinner show type
Yeah.
thing. And we were in a lineup. We had tickets, so we were getting in. But it was extremely popular, so a lot of people were there
Yeah.
to try and get in. And yeah, like a guy was touching my back on a regular.
It's
But he
very-
wasn't doing it like,
And he
because
wasn't
was
being creepy or
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
yeah.
And I was just like, ugh.
I that was the one thing about concerts because I remember going to like concerts a lot with Ian when we were younger, and obviously there's only you have to be
Yes.
pushed, but it's like you'd be so uncomfortable, and then even when it got too much, you'd be like, okay, back up, like
Yeah.
you shouldn't be hitting me constantly. We were so about personal space, but I've heard other countries are like not weird about being tactile and like touching.
Right.
Where like Canadians, that's like the biggest like sign of rudeness. Like if
Yeah.
you're, why are you randomly touching me? Why?
And if you are randomly touching me, why aren't you saying sorry?
Yeah. Like, do I know you?
Yeah, exactly. You're right inside the bubble. You're as
Yeah.
close as
You-
anyone can get.
I've never had anyone this close to my bubble. Ever.
Exactly.
Why you here? Not a stranger, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me, family members only.
Yeah. And even then, it's certain family members,
Yes,
too.
yeah.
Like, if my kids are in my personal bubble, fine. My husband's in my personal bubble, fine.
If Uncle so-and-so's in my personal bubble, I'd be
That's-
like, You need to back up a little bit.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. I love being around you, but let's keep our bubbles separate.
We're still, just imagine we're strangers and I know nothing about you, and that's how much space we should give.
Like, we give out a lot of hugs at family get-togethers.
Yeah.
And we're a huggy type. And I really, truly believe in the healing power of a hug.
Yeah.
And the bonding power of a hug,
Yeah.
right? Because family's important. But at the same time, even my family, who's a big family, once we hug, we're not like all over each other.
No, we're not touchy people. And even I don't hug everyone because sometimes I'm like, I'm not in the mood. I'm not, I don't find I'm a huggy, tactile. Maybe because I get enough from my kids and I end that I'm like, I don't feel that.
But there's so many of us that they wouldn't notice if you didn't hug.
No.
Because it's like, I've just had 8 hugs, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. It feels
Although
good.
at the sibling weekend, my brother did the hug t-shirt thing.
Oh.
It was so nice.
Oh, I've
it
seen
was
that's
so
cute.
nice.
Where's your hug t-shirt? Is it your night shirt?
Yeah, it's a night shirt.
Like,
Yes,
that's a
yes.
night shirt.
But yeah, it's such a great idea, and it really bonded us. It's amazing.
Aw, I was thinking of doing something like that for Ayanda, like, you know,
Oh,
you've
okay.
seen parent ones, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. And it was funny because we started the oldest, so I was the oldest, and John Michael's the youngest. So by the time he was hugging our bums.
All right, squeeze.
Luckily, the t-shirts were long enough that they all came down past our bums.
Good. So say there's a lot of arms you'd have to add.
Yeah.
Michael, always hugging your bum.
Yeah, exactly. So like when we were doing the middle ones, it was like, okay, place your hand here, and then we'd place the hand there.
I got you.
So
gently.
no one overlapped too much.
That's smart.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny. But you know who's who because we went oldest to youngest. So.
Oh, that's nice. That's smart. So you always know who.
Yeah, like this is Jamie's hug or this is Kayla's hug.
No, that's really sweet.
Yeah, it was very sweet. I thought it was a great idea.
That is really. I've seen those on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, that's where Ryan, he came up with it. My brother came up with it. He said,
Yeah.
I saw this on Facebook.
It's such a good idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
You know how I'm kind of in charge of entertainment at each family get together when we get the big one. I'm gonna say Ryan's in charge of the art activity every year at the sibling weekend.
He's proven his success.
Exactly, loved it. What's your next one?
Yeah, and craft stuff are fun to do.
They are, especially when you're doing it as a group.
Yeah, and as you get older too, you don't do. I mean, if you're not naturally a crafty person, you don't do stuff, and sometimes you don't even as an adult you don't do.
Yeah. There's a lot. Like I am amazed at the number of people that sit down at my tarot table, and I ask them, for instance, what are your hobbies? What do you do outside of working?
Oh, yeah.
And they'll say nothing.
That's
And I'm like, nothing? How can you do nothing? Like,
oh, that's
well,
he just like his game. He has his little game he likes to play. Actually,
yeah. But I mean, he's got a few jobs too.
Yeah.
So
his hobby is creating like jobs.
yeah,
he likes being business minded. That is his hobby. I should say.
His hobby. Yeah. So I wonder where his Capricorn is.
I know. I should look it up.
But yeah, I'm like, I'm like, do you read? Books regularly?
Yeah.
No. Do you do any kind of crafting or any kind of art? Because if I say art, they immediately go to painting.
Yeah, they think some artiste level of
It's like I'm not asking you to
wood
paint,
carver.
Yeah, and I'm not asking you to paint something for the Louvre or anything like that. But do you do any creative activity?
Yeah, there's all
do you
types.
Exercise?
Exercise is a hobby.
Yeah, like because some people
even just walking. Do you like to go for walks? That's
do you
a hobby.
Garden? Do you? There's all kinds of things.
Bake.
Yeah, cook, bake.
Are you enthusiastic about coffee? Do you like trying out new coffee shops or trying new coffee? Like that's a hobby.
Yeah.
There's all types of hobbies.
Yeah. But a lot of people are like, no, I come home.
Even watching different types of shows and stuff can
That's true.
I mean, TV can be a little much. I think sometimes you get too sucked into
because sometimes people will say, well, I come home, I watch Netflix, eat my dinner, go to bed, then get up and go to work again. And I'm like, well, that's a very dull existence.
That's too much. That's
and
enough.
I couldn't go to bed without reading.
I read every day.
Yeah,
me
too.
I'm on. Now, technically, I don't have the right accurate number because I switched from one app to the other.
Oh, okay.
So it stopped, obviously the count kind of restarted.
Right.
But I'm at 807, almost 900 days in a row of reading. At least on my one app. It's more than that.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I can't imagine not reading every day.
Well,
I read
one
every
of those,
day.
you know, those late night talk shows. They went out to the streets, kind of thing,
Yeah.
like they
Oh,
do.
yeah.
And they were asking people when was the last book you read, and a lot of people couldn't remember the last book they read, and the last book a lot of people read was when they were in high school.
I was gonna say probably
was
a lot of
just-
high school and whatever book that they were told they had to read or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I could not have gone that long without reading.
No, I did go through a bit of a hiatus, which I think is pretty normal, especially after like school. 'Cause,
Yes.
like I did a hiatus a little bit.
I remember you like, I don't want to read right after you got your degree.
Oh, after-
But Kayla, who was in the same graduating class
Yeah.
as you, she said she did the same thing. She couldn't
you-
read for a while.
You're so burnt out from all the reading because there's so
Yeah.
much research you have to do.
Yeah.
So you're reading journal, article, research paper after research
Like you
paper.
couldn't even handle like story
even
type reading.
even for pleasure, it was just like, no, I can't do it. I
Yeah.
think in all that time I maybe read in the like
A menu.
Yeah, maybe in the like I think like 4-ish years. Maybe I read like what I think I read maybe 3 books. Maybe.
Okay.
That's like
It's
generous.
like you hand the Chinese menu
It's like
to
all right.
Ayanda. Okay, Ayanda, you read that because I
too
can't
much.
read
It's
it.
too much reading. Too much. Even if I'm starving, I can't possibly read this. I think that was like that was impressive. I read like 3 books maybe
Wow.
in that time frame.
Right.
And now I'm like I'm actually at my lowest level right now. My goal was 130. 130 books
this year?
for this year is my
Okay.
goal.
Okay.
I'm at like 36, so I'm pretty low.
Oh, so you got a ways to go.
I got a ways to go. That's pretty low because most years I've been reading like 200.
Oh wow.
Now, granted, some of them are shorter, so it's not like that
Yeah.
impressive. But
Right. And are all of them like fiction or nonfiction or a mix of both?
I don't do nonfiction. I just
Oh,
do
okay.
fiction. I'm not a huge nonfiction fan.
Oh,
I've been
huge nonfiction fan.
I've been
I'm-
trying. I've heard some good ones. I'm like, oh, I should try and read that, and I'm like, I have yet to get to it, but one day. No, I'm very fiction based.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I read probably at least an hour a day. At least. Sometimes I get 2-3 hours in.
Yeah,
And I am a slower reader because I do have dyslexia, so
yeah.
I have to. I know now I
Take
have to look
breaks.
away and take breaks.
Have you tried
and-
that? Well, I guess it depends on the book that you have because I know you read a lot of paperbacks, but if you ever read online, you should do like there's a dyslexia open font
Oh
you
yeah,
can use that's supposed to
yeah.
make it.
I've
I'm
heard
sure
that.
that's supposed to make it easier for people that have dyslexia. I haven't used it because I don't have really dyslexia that way, so
Yeah.
it hurts my brain. I read. Me and I don't watch a lot of TV, so I usually spend my evenings reading. I read
Yeah, you know, Papa, he needs the TV on.
me and I don't. I think because the kids often like to have TV on when they come home. Like we do try and limit it now, but with just the kids all the time having it or anything, I'm like, okay, TV off. And so we're usually pretty peaceful and quiet in the evenings.
Oh, that's
We'll
nice.
watch like an episode maybe of something.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, it's been a little bit now because most of the shows that we're wanting to watch we've kind of finished up. Like we finished Severance. We've watched.
Good show.
It is a good show. We really liked it.
It's a mind-bending show.
I know we're like wanting the next season.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
"Ah!"
So are we. We're like, when's it coming?
Exactly. And we were watching The Bear. We haven't finished it. I'm not liking the second season as much as the first season.
Oh, okay.
So we haven't been pushing that as much. And then the other show we've been watching with consistency, but it's coming out on a weekly basis, is The Last of Us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so we've been upkeeping with that because we don't want any spoilers.
Well, there's a good show, really good show. I liked it. Called The Reference or the with the girl from Orange Is the New Black, the one that
Resident, isn't it? Or no?
yeah, The Resident.
I
Thank
thought
you.
so because I ironically just saw her on Instagram and I was like, oh, I didn't know she was on this on the
Yeah,
show.
it was a good show. I loved her in the role. She's the main detective,
Oh, okay.
and she's really good at what she does in the show. She's one of the best detectives, they say.
Oh.
And it was if you like whodunits, it was a very good.
Who's done it?
Yeah, it was a very good show that way. I really liked it, and I'm like, oh, I wish she could do more. Like, what's her next case? Because I liked her in that role.
Yeah.
a lot. She really fit it. So yeah, that was good. It was very good.
Yeah, no. We usually Yeah, we don't watch. I should watch it because I've seen that. It looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up. People can tell me new things to watch. I'm up for
Mm-hmm.
something new to watch because I'm not really digging The Bear. I'll probably finish it because it's not super long, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not as into this season as I was the previous season.
Oh, okay.
So now,
Okay.
right now, we're kind of in a bit of a lull for TV, which means we don't really watch TV now,
Okay.
except for Sundays when our episode comes out of the
Oh,
other
okay.
thing.
Okay.
So I read like,
You still got to check out the interview with the vampire too.
oh yeah, that was, oh, another one we were thinking it was the Fallout show.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Where they're underground?
Yeah, like it's based on the video game.
Yes. Okay, I've
Yeah,
seen that.
I've
Yeah.
heard good things, and I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that because I got randomly reminded of it. I was like, oh, we should watch that.
Yeah, that was a good series.
And the
too.
Dune TV show I want to watch.
Mm.
So there are some options.
I've seen trailers for it. It looks amazing.
That's what I've heard good things. So I was like, oh, we should maybe get into that
Mm-hmm.
because I love Dune. I haven't seen the new movies, so I want
Okay.
to watch those too.
Mm-hmm.
Movies are hard because we don't watch. Like I said, we don't watch TV super often.
Yeah.
Sometimes we split movies because sometimes it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
so
this is
do
a
we.
long movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if it's like even if it's 2 hours, it can be a lot.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but yeah, I typically read. I want to get back into cross stitching, but I'm a lull on that right now.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
okay.
have to get back into it for teacher gifts.
That's true. Yeah, you have to do that sooner rather than later.
Yes. Well, I don't have as much time these days, so I have to. You start now, so I have enough time to finish them. Not that they take super long. But...
No. Yeah. But
Oh well. Okay. I think we're finally at the level where we can say goodbye.
I think we've run the course of our stories.
I was gonna say we went even longer.
Yes.
I don't know where we were going.
I hope you enjoyed the ride with us.
I don't blame you if you didn't stick out to the end.
Yeah, yeah, but we covered a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
And I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yeah.
And happy hump day.
Yeah. Always a good hump day.
Yeah,
Everyone loves a good hump day.
Exactly.
And have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Rest of your weekend.
Like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't
Yeah.
already. Like it. Go to ko-fi.com/goddess garage if you want to become a member of the Goddess Club. I have 2 goddesses, possibly 3 in there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, there's a 3rd one that says she's gonna do it for sure.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, more join.
Yeah, and you can find us on Facebook as well. Under just type Goddess Garage and you'll find us.
Yeah.
And because I sometimes post up about your Stitchy Goddess too.
Yeah, the Stitchy Goddess. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can post up there too and see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So lots of things you can look up us under.
Look up us on.
Look us under. I don't know what was happening there, but
All right, so this time we meet.
yeah, this time we
Bye.
meet. Bye. Oh, or not.
Yeah.